see any salad here? This is a tomato, this is lettuce, this is this is this. Where is the salad? There is no really salad anywhere. It's only a mixture of this. There is no salad entity by itself. It is Ahankara is a salad. He will tell you, Bhagavan will tell you that you have to eat that. Why? Because you have to understand it itself doesn't have any properties of its own. It takes the properties of Atma to some extent. It takes properties of Anatma to some extent and say, I am this. Right? All your introductions, all your biodata is nothing but the mixture of Atma and Anatma. What self-realization? Self-realization, Atma doesn't need to realize. Anatma cannot realize. Anatma is inert, there is nothing to realize. Then what is realization? I who is taking this mixture of these two, get rid of that mixture and identify myself, I am the Atma only. That's a self-realization. So this inquiry is what exactly he is going to tell from next sloka on. Yes.
Arabhyate jiva jagat paratma. Arabhyate
jiva jagat paratma.
Tatvabhidhanena matam samastam.
Tatvabhidhanena matam samastam.
Idam trayam yavadaham matisyat. Idam trayam yavadaham matisyat. Sarvottamaham matishunyanishta.
Sarvottamaham matishunyanishta. Arabhyate jiva jagat paratma. Tatvabhidhanena matam samastam. Idam trayam yavadaham
matisyat. Sarvottamaham matishunyanishta.
So, Arabhyate jiva jagat paratma. This inquiry of all religions, here Bhagavan says, all religions trying to inquire what is the jiva and what is this world and what is the Lord. This is all philosophies. So all religions and all philosophies are trying to address this issue only, and everyone has their own philosophical positions of what exactly this. So Arabhyate, everybody starts with this. And prescribe, hey, this is the moksha, this is the liberation, this is what you have to reach. This is all have theories in terms of what it is, the highest that one can reach. So, tattva abhidhanena matam samastam. See, samastam matam, all the religions are essentially trying to analyze this, what is jiva, jagat and paratma, the parameshwara. Idam trayam, all these three. Yavat ahammatihi syat. Here Bhagavan nails it down. All these three, what are the three? The Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. In my introduction I said, Jiva is I, Jagat is you, and Paramatma is he. Right? The three things are there. I, you and he, these differences come into picture because I am there to start with. If I is not there, where is you? So first find out the validity of I before I can think of you and he. Because once I say I am this, then you are that. So this is differentiated from that, therefore you come and therefore he comes also. And therefore, the best inquiry, don't ask, go get into all sorts of philosophical discussions of this and that and all that. First inquire, who is discussing all this? find out the validity of the one who is analyzing, analyze the analyst first. Whether he is valid to start before the validity of other things to start. So therefore he is Sarvottama. See, of all the things, Ahammatihi is inquiring into the nature of the Ahankara. And Ahankara is mixture of Atma and Anatma. When you try to inquire and understand, I am the Atma, the existent, the pure, eternal, and this is therefore cannot be separate from me. If it is separate, then I become finite. Because when I say I am Brahman, I am infiniteness, there cannot be anything other than Brahman. Then if there is something other than Brahman, Brahman is no more Brahman. Brahman means infiniteness. So if there is something other than infiniteness, then it cannot be real. But I am seeing it. Yes, you are seeing it. Whatever you are seeing, therefore is not real. Really? Yeah. Whatever I see, Shankaracharya says in a very beautiful one statement, Drishyatva. So, you are seeing it, therefore it's mithya. So whatever I see is mithya. Mithya means not, either it is real, not unreal. So make up your mind. You say something, I can either have real or unreal. What is not real or not real? Called sadasad vilakshanam is mithya. That's how the definition of mithya is. Because it appears to be real, there is a reality behind this what is appearing. Therefore it appears to be real. Therefore there is a real part in it. What is that? That is Sat Swarupam. It is. We are saying the world is. So there is isness. The existence part is real. That which exists can never cease to exist because nasato vijjati bhavo na bhavo vijjati sataha. That which exists can never cease to exist. What Krishna declared, right? That's in the second chapter. And therefore, that bottom line, that which is substantive for the world, there is a reality. Therefore, I say the world is. Therefore, the isness coming from that which does not change, there is a truth in it too. But at the same time, I am seeing the attributes which doesn't belong to the Brahman. Brahman doesn't have any attributes. Why Brahman doesn't have any attributes? Because Brahman is infiniteness. Attributes belong to only finite things. Attributes are the qualities that define an object from all other objects in the world. That's what attribute means. There is no other object for me to differentiate Brahman from something else for me to differentiate. Therefore Brahman doesn't have attributes. Only finite things can have attributes. Therefore, that Brahman attributeless, you are attributing something. Hey, this is a chair, that's a table. I am giving a form and a name for that object which I don't know what the substantive of that is. Because I can only gather, remember, I can only gather the attributes of the object. So someone said, is that so? Is there really? There is no chair, there is no substance there? Let me see, and then he hit me with the chair. Now you will believe that there is a chair out there. So in the Yoga Vasishtha, Rama was a student and the Vasishtha is a teacher. And when this Saddarshanam class may be going on there, and everything is mithya, does he really believe in this? So when he was coming for the class, he sent an elephant to chase him. And the Vasishtha ran away from that. So when he came back and says, how come you ran away from the elephant? He says, what's the problem? Because the elephant, you said everything is mithya. Why are you running away? I said, remember my lesson. Whatever you see is mithya. Don't forget the basic lesson. Did you see me running away? He says, yeah. Then it is mithya. Drishyatvad. You have to read Shankaracharya Bhashya. So whatever is seen is because I am a seer. That is a seen. The existence alone is the real. So everything, the name and the form is only a superimposition on top of it. So the world and ahankara also superimposition of anatma, which is mithya. Mithya is that which appears to be there but is not really there. What is there? If you inquire, remember we tried to inquire what is a chair. We have a problem from the chair to cow, for everything. All we are seeing is only attributes, the qualities that doesn't belong to the substantive. Just as yatha saumya ekena lohamanina sarvam lohamayam vijñāta vacharambanam vikaro namadheyam. Just as my son, the ring and the bangle and the necklace and the bracelet all are nothing but the gold and gold alone. You are attributes of the ring which are different from the attributes of the bangle, which are different from the attributes of the necklace, do not belong as attributes of the gold. They have nothing to do with gold. All the names and forms and all the varieties are only those objects that doesn't belong. It is the gold that from which all ornaments are. I cannot separate the gold and give you back the ring. The essence of every ornament, there is nothing but the gold. Just the same way, the essence of myself, I am, removing all the attributes that are superimposed, borrowed from anatma, which is mithya, and the essence doesn't have any attributes other than I am existent consciousness, that I am self-aware. I don't need any means of knowledge for me to know that I am. Even in the pitch dark room, when you call me, are you there? Yes, I am. How do you know? I cannot see anything here. How do you know I am there? I don't need to see myself. I don't need to logically deduce, I am able to hear you, therefore I must be here somewhere. No. I am there. Even if you dismiss me, I am not there. Because I am self-conscious, self-existent entity beyond names and forms and attributes. That which is beyond everything, but yet I am the very essence. And it is beyond Atisunyam. It says, Aham Atisunyam, where there is no more notions of I am this. That's what the Ahankara is. And establishing in that is the Nishtha, is the knowledge that one can have. That is Sarvottamam. That is the highest path than all other paths. Really? From tomorrow onwards, I am going to see no other Vedanta, nothing else, no studies, because I am already that. I want to sit and meditate on who I am. Sir, in order for you to do this is where the J. Krishnamurti philosophy also comes into picture, where I want to uncondition myself. I don't know if anybody has studied the JK philosophy. He says, I want to uncondition myself. Everything is conditioned because you are cocooned by the notions about what you think you are, because of the way you are brought up, because your culture, your traditions, your acharyas all have really established all sorts of notions in your mind. You are not all of that. You are beyond that. So uncondition yourself. Don't listen to any teachers also. That's what he says. Sir, how do I do that? If I ask you, you are asking me, and if I tell you, but then you are listening to me, then you are following a path again. How can then you are conditioned to what I am saying? You have to uncondition yourself. So how do I do? All sounds good. Vedanta doesn't say that. Vedanta says, if you sit and try to meditate who are not this, thus is, you will go bazaar. First you have to prepare your mind, purify your mind so that you can go beyond this. That's why it's called Adhyaropa Apavadaha, where it takes you, the Lord is there, Karma Yoga, do the Karma Yoga. Only when I understand, until I can sit on top of the hearts properly, yoga arudaha, where I can sit properly, steadily, then you don't need to do karma yoga. Until then, purify yourself so that I can take my reins in my hand. So chitta suddhi is important to do this analysis. Otherwise, I go bazaar, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. I am trying to meditate every day for half an hour. I am not going, I am not this, I am not this. Then what am I? I need a pramana to tell me what I am. I can sit down on the chair. Why is apple falling down? Why is apple falling down? I can keep on asking questions. Nothing will happen. Apple will be falling on my bald head only all the time. But I had to say a means to understand what exactly are the forces. Go to the lab and deduce and analyze what exactly the forces that are pulling me down. The same way, I need a pramana, a means. That's why the scripture says, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam are important for recognizing, to establish myself. I am that, in fact, is beyond Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Told us a story in that my Upanishad class also. One fellow had a beautiful necklace. He went to his 4 miles, he walked to his friend and showed him, hey, this is a beautiful necklace I got. My wife gave me as a gift and all that. So it was beautiful and all that. So when he came back home and he found out that he doesn't have the necklace. So I go home, I forgot my necklace. So my wife gave me, my next year she will ask me, where is that necklace, honey? So he ran back 4 miles, running back to his friend. Oh, I forgot my necklace here. What do you mean you forgot? It is there right your neck. Got folded between your shirt, it is there. Oh my God, I found my necklace. Now, is that 4 miles running is necessary to discover that he has the necklace? Vedanta says, all that running is necessary to learn that all that running is not necessary. I need to run to find out that necklace is there. Otherwise, I'll be sitting there worrying about what my son in house of necklace, what my wife is going to say about the necklace. So, in the same way, all the sadhanas are important to purify the mind, not to recognize the Lord. Once the mind purified, Shravanam itself takes place. Why we don't, this understanding doesn't sink in deeply as soon as the class is over? Everybody says the same problem, right? Why? Because of the vasana pressures takes you back. I had to purify my mind clearly so that this understanding remains with me. How does it remain? Shravanam. How long I have to hear? Until that how long question is not there. Prolonged listening until I have no more doubts that it is the truth. Reflecting on that and contemplating on that, that is the only shortcut for realization. Bhagavan Ramana doesn't go into all the details, but he gives you the essence. But if you're saying that I am Bhagavan Ramana's disciple, that I am going to do exactly what he did, he didn't have the guru and all that, therefore I don't need any guru. He didn't study all the scriptures, but everything is actually scriptural statements only. If you sit like that, God bless you. Because realization can come only for the Ramana's mind there may be exceptions to the rule, but we don't make a rule out of exceptions. So one has to understand where I start with and what I need for my realization. And therefore he says, even though Sarvottama, this is most important in that requires a purified mind through Karma Yoga, the Upasana and Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga. That has to be understood here. Next one. We will get don't look at the watches, lunch will be there. Lunch will be announced because they have to, it's been catered outside. So as soon as I get a signal, I'll tell you that it's a lunch time, because then you won't be listening to me anymore. So then we will split. So until then we'll have class. Okay, go ahead.
Satyam mrisha va chididam jadam va. Satyam mrisha chididam dukkam sukham vetti muda vivadaha. Adrishtaloka niraham pratitihi. Adrishtaloka niraham pratitihi. Nishta vikalpa paramakhileshtha.
Nishta vikalpa
Satyam mrisha va chididam jadam va. Dukkam sukham vetti mudha vivadaha. Adrishtaloka niraham pratitihi. Nishta vikalpa paramakhileshtha.
So idam means this. So this means the whole entire universe. It says satyam va, vrusham va, chididam va, or jadam va. So this universe, all discussions are going on at varieties of levels. Is this satyam? Is it really real? The world is real? And is it really false? Is it mithya? Or is it chit? Or is it of the nature of prajnanam Brahma? It says consciousness is Brahman and the whole universe is Brahman. And how can this be unconscious? Is it jadam or is it really consciousness? So either chitva or jadamba. Dukkham sukham. Is it really gives unhappiness or happiness or pleasures or suffering? All are, Bhagavan says muda vivada. All our discussions are useless. You are unnecessarily wasting your time and all that, because this is an endless argument. Keep on arguing. Nothing will come out of it. Then what is that? So don't try to inquire whether the validity, reality of the world. Keep on investigating. Every scientist wants to investigate. I'm going to understand the nature. We are going to understand the fundamental aspect of it. You can keep on doing it. Guaranteed, nothing will come out in the end, because there will be a lot more that need to be known. The nature of the universe is, the more you open for analysis, the more it opens up, which you didn't know before. That's why our ignorance goes up exponentially with the knowledge. The more we learn, the more ignorant we become, because there we realize there are a lot more things to learn, which we didn't know even before. So our ignorance grows all the time in terms of analysis of the word. That's why everybody is becoming a super specialist of smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's called delta function. He knows everything about nothing. That is the understanding of the world. Says, you are wasting time. Is it real, unreal? Is it this or that? All that discussions are mudavivaha, is useless discussions, because nothing definitive will come out of any of the analysis of the world, because we are analyzing which is not real to start with. Mithya vastu. Analyzing a snake, they say, what is that snake? Is it a poisonous snake? Or it's a rope there. There is no snake. But I am trying to sit here analyzing, is it stripes, or is it really, does it poisonous type, or what is it, comes with the egg, or is it directly born? All sorts of analysis I am doing about that which is not there, that it appears to be there, but bottom line I am missing it. Adhishtanam, that which supports is not, I am not analyzing, I am only analyzing the superficial parts of it and getting carried away. My whole life itself is spent on that. That I am being PhD here, PhD there, varieties of letters are added behind my name. You remember ABCD? BSMS, PhD, ESD, all good, and now all, it has become just letters only. But what exactly do I understand the truth? Every scientific paper, you look at it, at the end of it, it will tell you there are a lot more things that he doesn't know that he needs to understand. That which he didn't tell before the funding, he told after that. Every research paper you do, that's what exactly. No one will say, now I understand this, any subject. And therefore here, Bhagavan laughs at us. This is all Mudaivaha. This is a discussion of useless. That which is adrushtam, that which you cannot see, because anything that you see is mithya, which appears to be there only, but it's not real. That loka, adrushta loka, niraham pratitihi, that which is famous, which is adrushtam, that which is filled, which is niraham. There is no more ahankara there. That is beyond ahankara. Trying to see that is the real inquiry. So inquiry of Atma, inquiry of Adhishtanam. So here not inquiring of not the ego, ahankara, but I am trying to inquire, is that a really rope? If I find whether it is a rope or not, when I see the rope, what happens to the snake? What snake? Snake that I saw, snakes automatically goes away. Where does it go? Into the rope? If it goes into the rope, that may be real snake. So the snake is only in my mind. I gave value to it. And that is called adhyasa. Here, we have to be very careful here. There are two types of adhyasa. Bhagavan Shankara starts with Brahma Sutra with adhyasa bhashya. Adhyasa bhashya means first before he goes into the Athato Brahma Jignasa, he gives you the adhyasa bhashya, which is the essence of this problem. As Bhagavan Ramana is going to tell that essence of that also. Essence of adhyasa bhashya is going to tell in this. And in that, this is what is this is similar to something other than that I am seeing. In the dark, when I am seeing something, there is some object out there, but I think it is a snake because it is soft, it is 5 feet long, it is on the aisle where snakes normally lie down, and I am stepping on it. I am afraid of the snakes, and this may be a snake, I better be careful, and all that. Where is that? I am taking some attributes of the snake. I am taking attributes of the rope. I am mixing these two together, creating a snake of 5 feet long, because that's 5 feet long. Lying on the aisle there, that is there, rope is also lying there. So some of the attributes I am taking of the snake and some of the attributes of the rope, mixing, making a chow there, and come up with, hey, it is a snake of this type. And afraid and fear and all other psychological problems that goes with this misunderstanding. Now what should I do? Inquire whether it is really snake or not, because other fellow says that's not a snake, that is a rope. If it is a rope, why am I seeing a snake? That's what my question, why are you seeing as a snake? So let's go and inquire, put a torchlight there and see, in fact, it is a rope. When I see the rope as a rope, what happened to the snake? Snake that came in my mind, a notion disappears back into my own mind. I don't even talk about it. Oh, it's a rope, thank you. This is one kind of adhyasa where I am superimposing the attributes of one object on the other. Alright? There are other adhyasas which are called Ishvara Srishti. This is called Jiva Srishti. There is a Ishvara Srishti where the errors are objective errors, where the truth is beyond, just as the sunrise and the sunset. The sunrise and sunset is only because of earth rotating and I am feeling it is the sun that is coming up and going down and I feel that is real right now. But when I understand, science will tell me, science is a means of knowledge for me that tells me through a teacher who explains to me. Then once I fully understand that sun never rises nor sets, I have the knowledge of the truth behind it. That does not eliminate the adhyasa that I am seeing. Follow? I still see the sunrise and sunset, knowing very well that sun never rises nor sets. Because the truth is created by the Ishvara, not by my mind. It is objective error. Whereas the snake is a subjective error. I see a snake, you may see elephant, who knows? May not be elephant, but something else. In the same way, when I realize that I am Brahman, now follow me, this is very important because a lot of people get confused here. When I realize that I am Brahman, I understand that I am the totality. Now doesn't mean that world disappears because I didn't create this world. Only world that disappears is the world that I created. That means all wrong notions, my relationships, and he is a bad guy and he is a good guy, he is that and he is all that notions and all that worries and that kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, vatsaryas, all this Harishad Vargas, all these 6 elements that are coming out not by the world, but I created in my mind. Asuya, jealousy, all that goes away. That is a Jiva Srishti. The Ishvara Srishti remains as a Ishvara Srishti. Now I know the Ishvara Srishti is the very nature of the Ishvara himself. Pasyami Yoga Vaishwaram. Oh Arjuna, look at my glory now. They are all in me. At the same time, they are not in me. Krishna is contradicting. Mayadadamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina mastani sarvabhutani pachaham mastaham sarvabhutani. My mind went blank. That is the Ishvara Srishti or Jiva Srishti. Says the whole universe is. I'm nothing, my mind is, I could not remember this sloka, that's what I meant. All these varieties and varieties of things are created, they are in me. At the same time, they are not in me, just as the gold says, all the ornaments are in me, they are rising in me, sustained by me, they go back into me, but I am not the ring, I am not the bangle, I am not the bracelet, I am not the necklace, I am none of those, I am beyond this, they are not in me. The nama, rupa, the qualities, the attributes do not belong to me. I am beyond all that. Look at my glory. I can exist in the form of a ring, in the form of a bangle, in the form of a necklace, in the form of a bracelet. Yet I am neither a ring, nor a bangle, nor a necklace, nor a bracelet. So understanding of a realization is, I am that Satchidananda Swarupam, where everything exists in me, sustained by me, go back into me, look at my vibhuti, the glory of mine. That will be the knowledge of a realized master. We are doing it in the Taittiriya Upanishad. A Trishanku, the Rishi who has declared, he says, Aham Rushasyareriva. Right? We have expert here. Say, I am the tree that supports the whole thing. What is the tree? The samsara tree itself is supported by me. A declaration by a sage who has realized. Not the tree is not there. Tree is there, but it is my glory. It becomes a vibhuti. Or you can see the vibhuti as a Lord's vibhuti. So realization is to see the Lord everywhere, including in you. There is no more you left then. Or inquiring himself as I am. If I want to discover the gold, should I analyze the ring, or should I analyze the bangle, or should I analyze the necklace? Which one I should analyze? It doesn't matter what you analyze, as long as you are trying to look at the substantive of the ring or a bangle or a necklace, you arrive the same truth as Satchidananda Swarupam. But Bhagavan Ramana says, it is better you analyze you, because you cannot say the world is mithya. It is not easy to say, as because I am playing the role, I am a husband, but my wife is mithya. She will hit with mithya something. So, as a role I am playing as a husband, then a wife cannot become mithya. I am a father, the son cannot become a mithya. Only when I recognize who I am is, I can play the roles of a father and a husband or a daughter or a son. I can play the roles. They are roles only, but I know who I am. That understanding comes when I analyze that I nature. What is my real nature? I. Here Bhagavan says, Adrishtaloka niraham pratitihi, that which is the pratiti, that which is illumining everything, that which is famous, which is nishtha, avikalpa, parama, akileshtha. It is that which is abiding in that knowledge that I am not this, not this, not this. All this is superimpositions. I am pure existent consciousness. That understanding is vikalpa, avikalpa, without any vikalpa, any modifications. This is nirvikalpa. That's what nirvikalpa means. Without any misunderstanding or notions that I am this. It's not absence of thoughts. It is not Advaita, is not an experience. Every day you have Advaita experience. When you go to sleep, you have Advaita experience. It is not the lack of experience. We are looking for, the problem is, you see the fundamental problem here. We are trying to experience that Brahman. And very longing to experience the Brahman becomes a problem. Because I am longing something, that means I have not understood what exactly Brahman means. It's not something to experience, it's something to realize I am. How do I realize? By dropping what I am not as I am. So all misconceptions have to be real, because they are not real. They are only the fictitious only, because they are only anatma, and there is no validity. Anatma cannot exist separate from atma. If it exists separate from atma, then atma cannot be infinite. Therefore it exists. Atma has to be supporting that also. But don't get carried away with that. Superficial things. It's only superimposition on something substantive. Substantive is Brahman. There is no world of object anywhere real there. For transactional purposes it is there. I am a husband as I transact with my wife. That is only transaction. I take the role of a husband when I am dealing with my wife. I take the role of a father when I deal with my daughter. I take the role of a son when I see my father. I take different roles in different situations that I am transacting with. But I am not the father, I am not the husband, I am not the son, I am not an employee. I am beyond, including all that, but beyond something which is very substantive for being a father, for being a husband, for being a son also. So that nishtha, avikalpa, without any vikalpa, any modifications or any thoughts about what I am as this, and that is parama, that is the supreme, and it is what everyone desires, Akhileshta. That which is desired by everybody. Why? Everybody wants this, because that's why when they go to sleep, they are so happy, because there is nothing other than themselves. So we have Advaitic experience. So what we are lacking is Advaitic knowledge of what we are experiencing. So it is not Anubhava, because we are longing for Anubhava. I want to sit and meditate, I want to experience that. Sir, that will never happen, because experience comes, that which comes has to go. What comes is Janmad Jasya. No, I'm not coming. I'm getting old, I guess. So that which is born has to die. That was the sloka I was trying to. So that which has a beginning has to have an end. So experience is time bound, but the knowledge is eternal. We'll go into more details about the knowledge and ignorance more, as Bhagavan himself is going to tell us. But at least here he's affirming, analyze first what is that ahankara, I am, that you are doing. That is the greatest inquiry, and don't get involved in all other philosophical discussions of that. Okay, let's go to the next one. We're waiting for the signal, so don't worry, you'll be more hungry.
Sarupa buddhir jagatishvare cha. Sarupa buddhir jagatishvare cha. Sarupa dhiratmani yavadasti.
Sarupa dhiratmani yavadasti.
Arupa atma yadika prapashyet. Arupa atma yadika prapashyet. Sadishtireka navadirhi purna. Sadishtireka
purna.
Sarupa buddhir jagatishvare cha. Sarupa dhiratmani yavadasti. Arupa atma yadika prapashyet. Sadrishtireka navadirhi purna.
So, Atmani yavad sarupa dhi asti. So, in the Atmani, in the one's own mind, yavat sarupa dhi asti. There is a notion that I am an individual with a form and localized that I am. As long as I feel I am localized with this body, with this mind, with this intellect. So as long as I have a rupam is a form which is a finitization of myself as I am this. So as long as I have that notion, Sarupadhi Atmani Avadasti, Sarupa Buddhir Jagati Ishvara cha. So Jagat and Ishvara also have the forms. Follow? As long as I think I am so and so with all that, then the world is real, the God is also real. They also have a form. God should have a form, or what kind of form? Whatever form you imagine, God has that form. So we have varieties of thousands of forms, and all those forms are real. If Lord is everywhere, all over, in every place, He is all pervading, I can use Him in any form that I can invoke Him. Therefore, every form is His form only. That's the beauty of Hinduism. Although He is formless, I can be Him. He is Narayana, He is Bhagavan, the Shankara, you can put him in Vaikuntha or in Kailasa. With the Vaishnavas, is a better place. Kailasa is a very cold place. Not, this is also Kailasa, by the way. Really, I'm not joking, because being a Vaishnavite, I have to tell like that, right? So, Vaishnava means you get good prasadam. Wherever you go in the Vaishnava temples, you get, otherwise you get only vibhuti. So for a bhakta, you should go to Pulihora and the Jyosanam, they get very good, the prasadam will be there. So all that is real as long as I feel I am localized. So if I think I have a body, God has the body. And therefore here, Bhagavan says Sarupam Buddhihi, that notion is there. It's a real, that Jagatihi Ishvaraha cha, Jagatsa Ishvaraha. This, the Lord has the form and the world has the form. Every object has a form. Everything that you do in the transaction will be a form. As long as you think you have, your form is real, then God's forms, all other forms are also real. Only when I try to inquire what is that behind the form. So for that, in fact, is arupa atma yadi kaha prapasyet sadrushtireka anavadihi purnaha. So here says that who inquires, says, do I have really a form, and what is my form? And form is a rupam. He is going to tell a lot more later. Says form is an attribute. Attribute belongs to an object. Remember, we went through all that. All the attributes define an object. I, subject, cannot be defined. All I can define subject I is that which is not an object. That's the only definition I can give. Because anything I define, I am, this I have to define. But this is not I, this is that I am seeing as this. So I am, any definition afterwards that you follow, that you define, that you give all your definitions and qualifications that do not belong to me. It belongs to the objects. Therefore, I do not have any qualifications of my own nature. Subject cannot be defined. Brahman cannot be defined. Brahman being infinite, infinite cannot be defined. Subject I cannot be defined. Both cannot be defined because I am Brahman. That's why. Only thing defined is therefore that which has a form. Therefore, once I realize that I am is not this, and establish myself, that adhishtanam, the supporting of all this is that existent consciousness that I am. Once I recognize that I am is arupam. Jagat doesn't have a rupam because I am the same existent consciousness that enlivens the world also, that supports even the God also, is because of I am that which pervades beyond all the divisions of Jagat, Ishvara and Jiva. The divisionless, which is undifferentiable, that is infinite, and that I am. Once I arupa, rupa means a form, formless is infiniteness, and therefore once I establish arupa atma yadi kaha prapasye, the one whoever, whenever he realizes that I am that totality without any boundaries of finiteness anywhere, that means I am infinite, that doesn't undergo any change. So sadrushtihi ekaha, sadrushtireka, anavadihi means all jiva, jagat, ishvara becomes anavadi. There is no more finiteness. Everyone becomes infinite. How can everyone becomes infinite? There cannot be three infiniteness. Therefore, I am the jiva, I am the jagat, I am the ishvara, and I am not the jiva, I am not the jagat, I am not the ishvara. I am beyond jiva, jagat, ishvara. I am the divisionlessness of all the divisions in which I am supporting. Follow my introduction, the initial introduction? I am the divisionless, the ignorance of which is causing all these problems. I realize that I am in fact this sadrushti eka, that eka drushti, that one alone is why. Therefore anavadhi, there is no boundaries for it. It is infinite, and therefore indeed it is purnam, it is full. There is nothing that is required. It is therefore it is infinite. And that is my true nature. And we are getting signal that we have to go and eat. And therefore, we'll stop here. We'll do the Purnamadaha Purnamida. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamiva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Before we go,